you understand.
Thanks so much for stopping back by my channel. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. And if you have been rocking with me, welcome back. Today's topic, as you can tell by the title, is one that deals with this most dreadful, I think this is the most dreadful topic in America. Aging. Aging. Aging is one of those words that when you hear it, no matter what generation you identify with, is usually not in a good look, okay? So we're gonna break this down. If you are new here, I am Quandra. I am a certified teacher. I have been teaching for the past 12 years, and we talk about all things society-wise, the problems that society has. We do a little bit of makeup here and there, and we just have a little chit-chat. So if you would like to be in the know, and if you would like to join the gang, go on and click subscribe, like this video, and let's hop straight into today's topic. So let me tell you, if you're new here, I always treat my videos and my commentary like I'm in the classroom. So I always have to give you a hook before I start my lesson, okay? So I want you to pause for a minute. I want you to think about your boomer. Now, some of you all have boomer grandparents. Both of my parents have since gone on to glory, but I had boomer parents and I had silent generation grandparents. I want you to think about a portrait that you have seen of a boomer or a Gen Xer or a silent generationer, if you were blessed enough to still have them in your life, or if you just have any kind of portrait. I want you to just pause for a minute. I want you to look at their picture like when they were younger, and I want you to just take it all in. The reason I had you do that exercise is because I don't visit a lot of people's homes nowadays, but when I was younger, I used to, you know, when you go to your friend's house and stuff, when you're in high school and things like that, the portrait that always got me, y'all, was the senior portraits. Like if you know, black households, we're gonna have those senior portraits on the wall. These past generations and even the newer generations, they're looking much more mature now. I'm gonna come at this topic from a couple of different angles. I was having a conversation with my grandmother, who has also transitioned and gone on to glory, but she was a part of the silent generation. And I remember I asked her, I'm talking about at a young age, because I've always been fascinated with history, get that from my dad, miss him too. But what she said just struck with me. And she said, things were not the same for me when I was 16. Things were not the same for your mom when she was 16. I said, why are you saying that? She said, because I'm telling you this is because life had already happened to a lot of the silent generationers or the boomers by the time they were 16. Every generation has their own lifestyle factors that I think contribute to how it manifests themselves and how it shows themselves. And when you look at people who are looking more mature, instead of just saying, man, you look old to be 16, man, you look old to be 17, we really need to see what kind of lifestyle factors are these people going through, because life is lifing for a lot of Gen Z. And this is probably going to be one of the only videos where I defend Gen Z. But life for Gen Z, and it's still life. And one of the reasons, and I'm going to take it back, when millennials, most of us, when we were at 16, 17 years old, and I'm going to stick with that age group, when we were around that time, a lot of us, we knew that college was next, right? We knew college was next. Whether it be community college, we knew trade was next, we knew university was next. Like, we knew that that was next for us. Like, this was the path that was laid out for us from previous generations. So we knew what was next. And we actually got, most of us, because millennials are the most educated generation, so it's just facts. But we knew, and the most in debt, but we knew that what was next for us. We didn't have to go through that, the senioritis. Like, we didn't have to go through that. And that's something that I used to tell my high school seniors. Senioritis is real, because you're trying to figure out what's next for you. We had it, but it wasn't as bad, because we knew, like, we can anticipate going to college, getting in a dorm, meeting your first roommate, living away from home from the first time. A lot of Gen Z did not fall for the, oh, you gotta go to college. And if they did, hands off to them. But majority of them did not go and get all of their college debt. They just didn't. And so while millennials, we were able to go to college, and I'm trying to bring it around. I'm bringing this around to the benefit of going to college. Going to college gives you time to figure life out. It gives you time to figure life out. It gives you time to figure out who you are as a person, what you like, what you don't like. And in the meantime, and in the midst of all of that, you're having fun. You're learning how to deal with the job force. You're learning how to deal with being around other people. You're learning how to deal with being around people that are not from your comfort zone. You're learning all of this in 4 years, in a 4-year span. So by the time you hit the workforce, you are able to deal with things a little bit better. Gen Z doesn't, a lot of them, like I said, didn't go to school. So didn't go to college. So a lot of them go straight to the workforce. Think about it. A lot of students that I've taught in the past, because I teach middle school, high school, a lot of those students, once they graduate, they had to take care of things. And so for whatever reason that they didn't go to a university or a college, they were in the workplace, and they don't know, they didn't get those critical soft skills that millennials got. They did not get that. They didn't learn how to be on their own, be independent. They didn't get 4 years to learn how to do this, 2 to 4 years to learn how to do this. It was just you throw them out there. And what happens when you let kids go too early, and this is just me speaking as a high school teacher, what happens is they're not ready. They're not ready. So once they actually hit the real world, and think about how stressed we were in college, because we weren't ready either. But we had 2 to 4 years to get it together. Gen Z does not have that. So they're not ready to be out in the world. And because they are out in the world, it's harder on them. It's stressful. It's very stressful. And that stress level that they have, that is manifesting. That's manifesting in their appearance. And I think we need to take a little bit easy on them. Like, you know, they've been released into what we call the world, and the world cares 0 F's about you. So because they're out in the world, they don't have a lot of soft skills, they don't have a lot of social skills, they don't have a lot of that. That creates this high stress level, and it also leads to them feeling like it's a certain kind of stress that comes over you when you're like an early adult, and it leads to excessive, like you're just doing things but you're doing it in excess, whether it's and I think back to college days and how, you know, a lot of people when they're in college, because that's like it's a and people don't really talk about, like, people don't really study like the early adult years as much as they should, because that's when you do a lot of things in excess in excess. And I'm telling you, because most of the times when kids first get to college, this is their first time away from home. They're adjusting, they're mentally adjusting, physically, socially, emotionally, all of that. And they are doing things in excess. They're partying, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're doing everything in excess. But you're doing it in college. So it's kind of like college is like a crutch for some. Whereas Gen Z, if you did not go to school, you did not go to a university, you might not have that crutch. So you're doing everything in you know, in an excessive manner, but you don't have that safety net either. You don't necessarily have that. In college, that safety net sometimes is pulled from under us. Think about how many people who were doing all of these things during that time period in excess, and then you know, you come back the next semester and they're no longer there. You know, because they couldn't cope, or they didn't, you know, they couldn't find a balance. So it just goes back to saying that lifestyle factors is the reason. Like, that's the primary reason. And that's why I wanted to attack this video from, is to come on here and say, like, these kids are stressed out. They're stressed out, they're lonely. A lot of them did not go to college. They didn't get that 2 to 4 years to figure out who they were. they're dealing with loneliness, guys. They're lonely. And I don't care what people say. Loneliness, the quarter life crisis, the early adulthood crisis, and that's why I said that time period, the early adult years need to be studied as well, because that is what I think, and I really want to do a case study on it, because I really do feel like that's when you're doing everything you're doing everything in an abundance. Like, you're just doing stuff just to be doing it. You're doing it way more than you normally would. But this generation is stressed out, and like I said, this is probably gonna be the only video where I defend Gen Z. They're stressed out, they're lonely, they don't know what's next for them. And it's the same if we look at the older generations, if we look at the boomer generation, if we look at Gen X, a lot of them were mentally in the same position as Gen X when it comes to post high school. A lot of them were parents. A lot of Gen Xers were parents. A lot of boomers were parents. They didn't know, like, it wasn't a such thing as go to college. And for boomers and Gen Xers, that trickled down into the millennial kids that they had, especially the older ones, because we were told, you're going to college. I didn't get to go because I had to take care of your older brother. I had to take care of, you're going to college. Like, that was pushed to us. But are millennials doing the same for Gen X? And is Gen X being receptive to say, okay, maybe I do need to take some time off and just trying to figure things out? I get it. Life happens and you might not be able to, you know, go to college. But the whole, everything about colleges are suffering. Colleges are suffering now. And it's because it's not appealing anymore. People aren't pushing college anymore as they normally was. And I just hate that, because with all of the different lifestyle factors that Gen Z has to deal with, they also have to deal with those lifestyle factors under this desire for perfection. Like, the desire for perfection that hit Gen Z and is just running rampant through Gen Alpha is crazy. It's crazy. Everybody in Gen Z pretty much looks the same. Everybody looks the same. Everybody in Gen Alpha, of course, is gonna look the same. I look at little, like, it's amazing what I see on a day-to-day basis, and I'm like, wow. Like, this is when I was 16, 17, like, you wore makeup for prom and you got dressed up for prom. Like, to come to school, makeup beat? Like, no, we weren't doing that. It's that desire for perfection that social media has created. So I gotta look my best at all times. I gotta look my best. I gotta figure out what's next for me. I got to try to see, like, am I gonna work? Am I gonna go to school? Do I want to be an entrepreneur? Like, I gotta figure all of this out, and I'm only 18 years old. I'm only 18 years old. And technically, my friend, she started doing lashes and she makes really, really good money. I want to do lashes and make really, really good money too. But I don't have a supportive background. So, or I don't have the support that my friend has. So I gotta try to do all this on my own, because I want to be like my friend. My friend is a social media influencer and she does lashes like no other. But I'm 18. So I'm trying to figure all of this out with nothing, basically. I feel like had Gen Z had time, I feel like society took time away from Gen Z. And because by the time most Gen Zers were of high school age, social media was a thing. Like, it was a real thing. It was in the beginning stages with us. We were inventing it up. With the millennials, we were getting it to where it needed to be. But by the time Gen Z hit, it was a full-grown thing. So now you're being able to communicate with people across the globe who are the same age as you, and these people got this, they got this, they got that. And I gotta get that. I gotta have that. I gotta look like that. But I don't really know how. Like, I don't really know where to start. All I know is I gotta look like that. Y'all, we gotta stop it. Like, saying these kids looking old, and maybe I'm biased because my nephew is Gen Z. He's the oldest of Gen Z right now. But we're 7 years apart, but he is, what he went through in high school was just, for me, just like minor. Like, I always tell him that, like, the stuff y'all stress over as Gen Z is like, why? And it leads to that. It leads to the excessive. It leads to everything being excessive and in excess. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, and he says it, like he said it one time. He was like, when you were 25, you had this, you had this, you had that. And I'm like, so like, I get it. I get it. And I guess this is why I'm being a little bit sympathetic toward them, because Gen Z is something. Gen Z is the most I don't give up generation while still being stressed at the same time. Like, how do you not give up and be stressed? That's them. If I had to talk about them, that's them. They are the most I don't give up generation. But they're stressed out, y'all. Those babies stressed. Those babies are stressed out. And we need to be lenient. And I'm gonna wrap the video up with this. Society as a whole gotta do better with ageism. Like, we gotta do better. Like, why is this even a topic? Why are we, like, the amount of anti-aging products that are on the market blows me. Aging is a gift. Aging is a gift that not everybody gets to get. And we're gonna condemn people because they're getting older, because they're looking more mature. Like, but I'm gonna end the video right here by saying we gotta extend grace to former generations, because saying that, oh, they look so old, that's rude anyway. Oh, they look old when they were 16. The boomers look real old. And they did have a more mature look. But like my granny told me, life was life. And it's the same with Gen Z. So how are we gonna punish them and say they look older because of the things that they're experiencing? And you can sit and you can say, oh, well, they brought it on themselves. They should have did this, they should have did that. But was it as easy for them, with given all of the changes that society has gone through? Was it as easy for them? Was it? Oh, I can just keep going about the educational system with Gen Z by the time they really got into it. I can go on and on and on, but, and if you want me to, girl, give me a thumbs up, or guy, give me a thumbs up. But y'all, that's all I want to come in here and say, because I was just, you're not finna do them like that. You're not finna do Gen Z like that. You're not finna do former generations like that. Aging is a gift. Let people age. And let people age. If you are aging, baby, age gracefully, and don't worry about what anybody has to say. Okay? Life is life for millennials too. We're able to maintain for some kind of reason, but life is life, and over here we're sitting in all kind of debt. Okay? So just let people live. Like, let people live, okay? And give people grace. Like, let's extend grace. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel on your way out of here. And I'll see you all on my next one.